Hit that like button as soon as you come in. We about to cook. Hit that like button as soon as you come in. You know what time it is. Down. Just waiting for people to file in here. Get the party started. Make sure you jab that like button as you come in. You guys know the drill. Number one Packers gamer. Salute. Kenneth Perry. Salute. Willie. Salute. Dwayne. Price. What's good? Feel it. Got it. Good to see you in the chat. Glad you made it this time. Loud boy. Good to see you. About to get it started here in just a moment. Let this intro play. Let people get their notifications. Let people file in. That's right. That's right. Appreciate all the people that dropped in early. You guys see the title of the live stream, man. And we know by now, hopefully, if you don't know, I'm here to let you know that Deontay Wilder finally did do an interview with PBC. And, he gave some thoughts. It's good to hear Deontay's voice. We haven't heard him speak in a while. And, he gave some very telling information. So if you guys haven't seen the full interview, I'll play parts of it for the sake of this live stream. But if you want to listen to the entire interview that PBC did with Deontay Wilder, make sure you drop by the PBC YouTube channel, and they've got it uploaded there. He hit a lot of different areas. They talked a little bit about his personal life. He talked a bit about his daughter. Talked about the hurricane and the stuff that he witnessed with that. And they talked about a few different things outside of boxing. But for this live stream, we're gonna keep it boxing, and I'm just gonna give you guys my thoughts on the things that he said. If you guys don't know, I went live earlier. Was it this morning? And yeah, it was a very good and successful live stream. I mean, as a matter of fact, it was lit. If you were a part of that live stream where I broke down Deontay Wilder's training, you know how lit it was, man. It was lit. We had a lot of people in here showing a lot of love, a lot of support. We were dropping predictions, and the flame was burning high. So if you haven't seen that live stream, make sure you go check that out too, where I break down Deontay Wilder's most recent training video of him hitting the mitts and doing the work and whatnot. So make sure that you swing by, smash the like button over there. I want to get that video up to at least 1,000 views. I think we're at about 600 right now. And so I want to get the word out there. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the topic of the evening. As I said, Dave makes it into the chat, dropping in that emoji of Wilder respects. Loud Boy says they tried to shadow ban the Wilder interview. That's crazy. Yeah, I think YouTube be on some shenanigans all across the board. I've had at least 4 or 5 different subscribers of mine email me, write comments on my videos telling me that they're not getting notifications anytime I go live. So it's a real issue right now. And I just want to address that real quickly. Anytime you are available to go and watch your favorite channels go live and you're not getting notifications and you've already clicked the notification bell and you're not getting that notification pop up on your phone or whatever have you, then you guys need to reach out to YouTube. Let them know that you don't appreciate it, and it's got to be a collective voice. You know what I mean? Because it's a real big issue right now. I have a handful of subscribers that are very disappointed that they're not able to join these live streams. They really look forward to it, and YouTube is not notifying them. And I've had a few subscribers. We had a couple official members that are connected with me via social media. And they hit me up right away and sent me screenshots that they actually have their notifications turned on and they're not receiving them. So that's the type of stuff you send off to YouTube, man, and hopefully we can correct that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's coincidence, it's conspiracy, or what. Maybe I'm saying things that they don't like. Who knows, man? But something that we can't tolerate. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is, like I said, is I just wanted to speak a little bit about what Deontay said in the interview. I'm going to play bits and pieces of it. And there's some specific things that I wanted to touch on. I talked a lot about the fight, the improvements that Deontay Wilder has made, and the fact that that Fury knows that Wilder's a true threat right now. There's no doubt about it that he knows that Wilder is a threat. Now, I find it interesting, too, how Fury and Wilder essentially did an interview, I believe the same day, but on 2 different platforms, 2 different networks. And Fury was ranting and raving about all kinds of random, crazy-ish. And if you guys want to check him out, I can't stand to listen to him personally for more than 4 or 5 minutes, man. I watched a little bit of it, man, and he was just trashing anybody and everybody that he can except for himself. No accountability, no awareness of reality, and just talking silliness, man, at the end of the day. And I just can't tolerate it. But he did do an interview. He did speak on Deontay a bit. But for me, what I want to hear is what Deontay has to say. And that's what we're going to talk about. But they did do interviews. And I find that kind of ironic because normally you have two fighters in a real press conference, right? They're there together. But they did separate interviews. And maybe that's a good thing because if you put them on the same panel, probably nothing going to get done. But I'm glad that Wilder did come out a little bit and speak on a few things. Razor, what's good? Andrew Charles, excuse me. What's good? Good to see you guys. Glad you guys made it in the chat. Make sure you guys, duck, slip, and jab that like button as soon as you guys come in. It means a lot every time you do. And what I'm going to do to go ahead and start it off is I'm going to go ahead and pull up one particular snippet of Deontay Wilder speaking in the interview. And we'll just cut and slice from there and leave you guys my thoughts, man. And as always, if you have any thoughts or questions, drop it in the chat. Get a conversation going. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you're thinking. So this is it right here. Deontay Wilder is ready for war, the PBC podcast. That's where you can find the entire interview, or if you guys want to watch it. They have it separated in chapters, so you can go straight to the Deontay Wilder part, because I believe it is a very long podcast. I think close to 2 hours, but yeah, you can go right to where you want to hear it. And I think they interviewed Wilder for maybe 30, 45 minutes. So yeah, y'all can check that out. But what I'm gonna do, for the sake of copyright, I'm just gonna play the audio and then let you guys know what I think. I've been having some copyright issues lately, man, because obviously, I don't care. I just do what I want to do, and so they're trying their best, man, to make it difficult for me. So I'm just gonna have to play the audio here. It's audio anyway, so not a big deal. All right, so here we go. I'm about to play, and we'll listen to a bit of it, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts.
That ain't nothing I have to say. I want to show you. Been speaking, especially when so many people have tried to go against you. So many people have seen certain proof, but they don't care. That just lets you know how the world is. They don't care. And, I'm trying to say too much without saying too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, I don't want to give away too much, because I know when I speak, people pay attention. When I post things, people are paying attention.
Facts.
Especially my opponent,
And on that note, we know for sure, watching everything that Wilder does. You know why? Because they're worried. They're concerned. Guaranteed. And Wilder actually speaks on it. He says that he knows for a fact, because he has little birdies outside of his camp that knows things. Boxing is a very close-knit community at the end of the day. And that's why when fighters or boxers in particular do sparring footage or they do particular training, they're extremely adamant on not allowing cameras and things like that at these sparring sessions and training sessions, because that stuff gets to the other camp. I mean, this is prize fighting. This is championship boxing right here. Any edge that you can get on your opponent, you're going to take it. So trust me when I tell people, Tyson Fury knows exactly every move that Deontay makes. He's seen the bench pressing videos. He's seen the pad work. He's seen it all. So that is a guarantee. A guarantee. So I like the fact that Deontay is mature enough and wise enough to point out that I'm going to be, held accountable, number one, by the media for what I say. And also I know that the other camp, they're watching everything that I do and say. So I have to be careful on my presentation, because that's facts. We got PGH, Big Dog, in the house. Good to see you. Moped, of course. Always a pleasure. Expert Genius, what's good, man? What it do? I haven't seen you in a minute. I didn't see you on the last live stream, man, when we broke down the training footage. I would have loved to have you a part of that, but it's good to have you tonight. Dave says, when they say the training he's doing won't help, that's just what they're hoping. Man, all that is propaganda. Because at this point in time, that's what Fury fans need, right? They're on a low, right? And then they went on another high because they thought they were going to get the Joshua fight, the big UK heavyweight championship bout. That's what they were wanting. And then since then, when they lost that hope, it's been going downhill for them. And they keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into the mire. And mire, aka quicksand, basically. And they get stuck in there. And now they're in a dark place because they know their man hasn't been training. They know their man hasn't been taking it serious. Supposedly he got COVID. His daughter was sick. He hasn't put out any footage of him training because, quite frankly, he hasn't been training. I don't want to hear none of this BS about, he doesn't want to reveal what he's doing. Man, stop. The man hasn't been training. That's just what it is. He's trained here and there, off and on, because in the beginning he wasn't taking it serious. I keep telling people this. He wasn't taking it serious. He truly thought that he was going to come in the third fight like he did the second fight because Sugar Hill and those people are convincing him that you're too big, you're too strong, and you can knock him out. They're putting false. But I think as we continue to inch closer to the fight, hey, people, we're a month away now. Time cannot go slow enough for Tyson Fury. And now that it's creeping, and now he's having to do interviews, and now that he's seeing Wilder do the training, and the buzz is starting to happen now. Last month, there wasn't so much. Last month, we were kind of in the matrix, right? We didn't know what to think about it because the fight keeps getting postponed, and people were just, like I said, in the matrix, just beyond themselves, right? Beside themselves. And so now we've got through August. We've got through August now. And now we're creeping into September. All boxing fans know when you get to that 1 month mark, it starts to get real, right? Those last 3 weeks or so where you start putting in those final touches on your training. Wilder's starting to put on the final touches, making sure that his weight is good, making sure that he's recovering properly, and putting on those final finishing touches because he's already put in the work. Fury, though, is trying to condense his training and try to do everything in that 3 week time because he hasn't put in the work in. He's trying to put the work in and then trying to recover and then trying to put the finishing touches and everything all condensed in 3.5 weeks. 3.5 weeks because normally fighters don't train. They usually have a cutoff date of like the last 72 hours before a fight. Not every fighter, but most fighters. It's their recovery time because you put the work in the gym, right? You sleep, you eat good, you make sure your weight's good, you drink a lot of water. For heavyweights, you're not so much worried about the weight, but you want to stay trim, you want to stay good, you don't want to eat stupid leading up to a fight. And, just keep it mentally sharp. Maybe you watch a little bit of training footage, a little bit of the fight films there at the end, just to kind of mentally prepare yourself. And I don't think Fury's going to have any of those opportunities. He's going to be rushing everything in. Killer on the run, what's good? Tyson Fury must die in the ring. Damn. White boy must die is a fact. It's the will of the God. It's the will of God. He will be humbled and retired back into a coke head junkie. Damn, Killer on the run, coming straight for the left hook to the chin. Jimmy, I'd actually like to see Fury get iced. His fans annoy me. AJ Wilder and White all took bad losses, so I'd like to see Fury get humbled. Once they all lose, the fanboys will stay in check. On that note, and for those who don't know, Jimmy is a big Joshua fan, and he's been on the live stream before. But on that note, from Jimmy, I dropped a video, right? So this channel, for those who don't know, and I've said this many times, but I think there's still some new people here. My original channel, Divine Sense, it was just called Divine Sense. I created it back in 2009, I believe, maybe 2008. And I went strong for about 5 or 6 years, up until about 2015, 16 or so. A lot of beefs, a lot of battles, and I didn't like the way that YouTube was going. My daughter was born around 2013, and so I just stopped making less videos, and ultimately I dropped out, I believe, in 2015. Then I came back this year. I recreated this channel in early June of 2020. Just 3 months ago, y'all. 3 months ago, created this channel. And I was gone for 6 years. So I had to do a lot of catching up. They didn't have these live streams. A lot of things have changed. I had to see there's a lot of new channels out there. Channels that weren't so big back then are now big now, like Boxing Ego, for example. He's blew up. Deontay's Boxing Nation, he blew up. So I do a lot of catching up to do. But one of the first videos I dropped, as a matter of fact, I think it's like my second video I dropped, was entitled Deontay Wilder Will Smash Tyson Fury. In June, I dropped that video. And I got a lot of love on the video. Don't get me wrong. Some of you probably watched that video and subscribed. A lot of you guys probably came to this channel from that video. But then I got a lot of heat. A lot of heat. And I'll tell you this. If I didn't have my experience from being on YouTube previously and dealing with trolls and racists, I probably would have said, F this YouTube. I ain't got no time. Like the amount of like negativity and racist comments that I was getting on that video, if I didn't have the experience that I had previously, I would have said, I don't got time for this YouTube stuff. I would have took down the video and just kept it casual, you know, because for me, this is a hobby. This is something that I like to do. But because of my experience, I withstood the storm. The video's still up. It's got 20,000 views right now, currently. And so the reason why I bring that up is because all those people that went on the video saying this guy don't know nothing about boxing, this guy's crazy, Fury's going to destroy Wilder. Wilder is he's a crybaby, he's an excuse maker, he's a disgrace to boxing. This guy is ashamed to his own race because he won't go for the white man, pitiful white man, and I feel sorry for him and his family. You know, he should be ashamed of himself because he won't go for Tyson Fury. He hates his own kind. I'm not even joking, like dead serious. And I have all of these comments screenshotted, and I put them in the vault. I put them in the vault for October 10th. But we're not even on October 10th yet, right? We're not even there yet. And it's already starting to get quiet. It's already starting to get quiet. It's already crickets. Because like I said, in June, people were confident. Because we were a month away, a month removed from the original date of July 24th, right? So people were confident in Fury. Because they were still, they were still pumped up from the victory from the second fight. Like, yeah, Wilder's going down, yeah. Then your man got COVID. And y'all tried to fight back. Y'all tried, oh, yeah, man, but he got COVID. It's not his fault. Even though he didn't prove it. Even though a few days later, he's out in town with his shirt off, acting a fool. Like it's a big joke. And then you guys still try to defend it. Oh, it don't matter. It don't matter. Wilder's going to lose. But now we're in September. And I'm hearing less and less and less from the Fury fans. And right now, they're just hiding behind the bushes. Right now, they're starting to hide behind the bushes, peeking around the corner, and just waiting for October 9th. And they're going to be watching with one eye open. As soon as the bell rings first round, they're going to be watching the fight like this. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Here comes Wilder. Oh, goddamn. Man, Fury looks like, he looks terrible. That hurt. That hurt Fury. That's how they're going to be watching the fight. Gritting their teeth. I promise you this. I promise you this. But I find it interesting. They come in full steam ahead. Now they're starting to back away. And so that just proves. We had Fury fans in the live chat. Some of you guys were a part of this. The last live I did, breaking down the training footage. We had a couple guys come in and said, oh, man, I'm a Fury fan, but I got to be honest, man. Wilder looking like a beast. I'm worried. We had a couple people drop comments like that in the live chat. You know, most Fury fans don't have the courage to say that. So whoever those guys were, I don't remember their names, probably subscribed, maybe because I talked about other fights or something like that and they liked it, but they're still Fury fans, but they had the courage to come in there and say that. Most Fury fans don't. So less than a month away now, people. Less than a month away. Dr. Hook, what's good? Good to see you in the chat. Dr. Hook says Fury will have an abbreviated training camp. Plus, he has to get reacclimated once he flies back to the States. That's a big point right there. That's a big point from my man, Dr. Hook. I like the name, too, because, you know, the hook. That's my punch right there. Left hook to the body. The Fury stands and the Pactars are the worst kind of trolls. I love that picture too, Felix. That's a rest in peace, man. Roger Mayweather, man. You don't know shit about boxing. I love that. Love that. Hoplo, what's good, man? Thanks for stopping by. It says body work definitely looks improved in training footage. 100%. Dedication to the body. We broke it down last live. We broke it down, didn't we, Hoplo? We broke it down. Dwayne Price says Fury has no place to hide this time. His options are very limited. Fight Wilder or retire. So I was a little bit late to start this live stream tonight because I saw Stormy B going live, and you know he had a little panel going and whatnot, and so I had like 30 minutes. I said, man, I'll go ahead and jump in here. So I jumped on, and of course, anytime you go talk about boxing, 30 minutes turns out to be 2 hours. But, you know, they were talking about basically, you know, what Dwayne just said, you know, Fury has no place to hide. But they were basically saying, man, I don't know. I still don't know. And I'm still not confident if October 9th is actually going to happen. That's what they were saying. But you guys know how I conduct business over here. I completely understand why people have that feeling, why they have their doubts. Because when you're dealing with a man like Tyson Fury, you're going to have doubts based off of his track record. But I believe in speaking positive energy into the universe and speaking things into existence. And October 9th will happen. What did Wilder say? What did he say at the press conference? We did the film study, the press conference too. What did he say? That little short statement that he made on the mic. Time to cut off his head. There will be bloodshed. Get your tickets now. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Nothing else to say. No more words to speak, man. It's all been spoken. It's time to go to work. So, what are you going to do, Fury? But like literally what Dwayne just said, if you figure out a way to get out of October 9th, and you better make up your mind because you don't got much time. You either take this ass beating like a man or you retire. That's it. And be banished from the sport of boxing for life. You never welcome back in the ring. If you duck this fight, I don't give a damn what the reason is. Because if you come out and say, "Oh, it's unfortunate that I got into a car accident," I'm at the point now where I would never wish that upon anybody, any bodily harm or anything like that. But I'm at the point now, based off of Tyson Fury's track record and him crying wolf, that if he said he got into a car wreck or he fell off his bicycle and he broke his leg or smashed up his shoulder or whatever the case is, I think he maybe done it on purpose. He woke up one morning and said, "Man, my training is terrible, and I'm not feeling good. There's no way I can be in this fight. I've already used the COVID excuse, so I can't really do that again. I'm going to take one of my 5 cars that I got, and I'm just going to just drive it into a tree, take a few photos, put it on Instagram, and say, hey, guys, it's unfortunate." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me what the excuse is. He must be banished from the sport, because you make a mockery not only out of Deontay Wilder, but the whole sport of boxing, heavyweight boxing in particular. Of all the great heavyweights that came before you, obviously you don't have respect for any of the other great heavyweights that came before you. So the question is Fury willing to take that type of criticism? Is he willing to literally step into hell and never return? That's the question. Because he can't find any hope by stepping out of this fight. He has to retire. That's already contractually guaranteed. If he ducks out of this fight, he has to retire. But if he thinks he's just going to retire and wait out who's going to win, and then maybe he can get the Joshua fight or something like that, no. Banished from the sport. And I'll be the first one to make sure a petition is signed. I will levy up a petition to make sure that this man never steps into the ring again. And trust me, I got more power than people think. I keep it cool most of the time. I just conduct myself as an individual. But I'm a very, very determined person. C. Wood, what's good? Just catching up on the chat, man. As always, you guys know, man, I get up on my soapbox. I start ranting and raving. I get into the zone. So at any point in time, you want something highlighted, question, statement, remark, want to show some love, highlight a super chat, and I'll make sure I get to it. C. Wood, what's good? He says Fury needs to be banned if he pulls out. Pause. Yeah. For sure. Banished. Never to be seen again. Disgrace if he pulls out. He will talk about depression and unwillingness to continue and then retire. That's possible too. He's used mental health excuses before. But again, it doesn't matter. The result's the same. Banished. Period. TS Boxing, what's good? Nicholas Levy, what's up? What's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. C. Wood says, we got to stop making this dude a priority. For sure. Let's play a little bit more of what Deontay Wilder had to say in his interview with PBC. If you're just joining, I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you jab the like button, and I got a link connected at the top of this chat. If you want to become an official member of the channel, like my boy Dave is here, he's an official member of the channel, man. Grab some perks, grab some emojis. I got my boy Nitty G as well. I think he's going on his 2nd month of being an official member. Much respect and love to Nitty G, man. One of the first ones to be an official member of the channel. If you guys want to do that, like I said, the link is up there. Click on it and get engaged. But let's go ahead and play some Deontay Wilder's comments in this podcast with PBC.
they're watching, they're paying attention to every word I say. People try to dissect certain things that I say. They make their own, they paint their own narrative of it. And, I'm going to be as simple as possible, and, but I'm going to just put it like our mindset is very violent. But we're going to approach the fight with calmness.
Very good.
Let me rewind that back, man. I just want to say this about PBC, man. They are crazy with the ads, man. I've had to watch this interview a few times, and literally, like every 2 minutes, there's an ad. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy, like insane, and it just like cuts off the audio. Then the ad doesn't load up, and then you gotta wait. Very annoying. But let me rewind that back one more time, because Deontay did say something very, very interesting. Actually, I put it in the thumbnail. This very quote right here.
Paint their own narrative of it, and I'm gonna be as simple as possible, and but I'm gonna just put it like our mindset is very violent, but we're gonna approach the fight with calmness.
Very good. Now,
so he said, our mind is violent, but I'm gonna approach the fight with calmness. That's deep. That's deep right there. Our mind is violence, but we're going to approach the fight with calmness, composure, discipline, dedication to the craft. But we have a mission, and that is off with his head, man. Nothing nice. Nothing, hey, we respect each other as two heavyweights, man. Let's make a good fight. I don't want to hurt you. Let's just give the fans a good show. This is as real as it gets. And trust me when I say this. The last time these two men faced off and looked at each other's eyes was that press conference back in, what was it, like late June or whatever it was. And I'm telling you right now, Fury felt that energy then. So he's had from June until September to feel that energy and to think about that energy. You got his brother in the back barking at Wilder's team like you're going to do something. Sit your Pillsbury Doughboy ass down. There's two men up there. There's two heavyweights up there. Sit your ass in the back and watch like a spectator. You ain't going to do shit. But seriously, they've looked into each other's eyes, and Fury knows what time it is, man. He knows what time it is. He literally took off his sunglasses in slow motion and stared into this man's soul. Yup. Our mind is violence, and we're approaching the fight with calmness. We'll see what else he has to say.
The fight was delayed because Fury tested positive for COVID. Are you concerned at all that something else might come up before October 9th?
I'm not at all. It's all in God's hands, man. And I can't control what they're doing on their side. I can't control whether it's a lie or if it's a truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe none of it. Nothing that they've done. Anybody that been trying to run since July.
Another damn ad. Oh, God.
Anybody that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to not fight, you can't believe that person. They trying to run away from it, and I'm running to it. It's like, and when it's like that, you can't believe nothing, and honestly, I don't believe he had no COVID. You know, look at his actions. Look at what he's done.
Y'all heard that, right? I don't believe he had no COVID. I heard it from the man himself. So people get so upset when people speak for Wilder. Well, you just heard it for yourself.
Anybody that pay hundreds of $1,000s to not fight, you can't believe that person. You know, they trying to run.
In case you can't hear, he said, anytime you try to pay someone hundreds of thousands of dollars to not fight, you know you can't trust that person. You know you can't trust people like that.
Away from it, I'm running to it. It's like, you know, and when it's like that, you can't believe nothing, you know, and honestly, I don't believe he had no COVID. You know, look at his actions. Look at what he's done.
Look at his actions. Look at what he's done, crying wolf on multiple occasions. If he was an honest and genuine person, maybe I can believe that he did have COVID. But unfortunately, for boxing and boxing fans, he's not. So therefore, I don't believe he got no COVID. From the man himself.
Been at different places and stuff like that. He definitely don't act like it. And I just, my only thing that's upset me is that there's so many people out here, even family members that actually had COVID and actually fucking passed away.
Facts.
From this shit.
And facts. What Wilder just said right there is absolutely true. It's not something to joke around about. It's not something to play around about. And the thing is this, people. The biggest problem is Fury never actually proved that he had COVID. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for Wilder. Don't do it for any of the Wilder supporters. Do it for your own supporters, man. Because they're the ones out in the streets taking the heat. When you come out and say you got COVID and you push the fight back all the way until October, it's the Fury fans, right? It's your fans that put money in your pocket, that buy the pay-per-views. They're the people out there facing the heat. They're the ones that have to deal with Divine Sense Boxing. Because your man's a fraud, and you can't justify it, and you can't prove it otherwise, right? So don't do it for me. Don't prove it to me. Prove it to your own people. And you can't. Because you lied. And you're playing around with something where people are actually dying from this disease, man. See, people that have, family members that have died from this disease, man, this ain't no joke to them. And you out there shirtless, prancing around after, 2 or 3 days removed of announcing that you had COVID or something like that. Like, it's just phenomenal. Phenomenally insane at this point that he was able to get away with that, man. And I have to say it. And I know Deontay Wilder feels this way. He just says he's careful on what he says, and he didn't put this in the podcast. But I know he feels this way. What if the tables were turned, man? What if Deontay came out and said, I got COVID, and then a few days later he's out there prancing around Alabama shirtless, no mask? Real question. Real question. Because the fact is that Fury got away with it, man. He got away with it. He got a pass. Did ESPN talk about it? No. Did any of these major podcasts talk about it? No. Major as in like major networks? No. Nobody talked about it. Only some, authentic channels out here like Boxing Ego and a few others that, do have a little bit of credibility and have, 50 to 100,000 subscribers, But look, man, still, even with that, I mean, they're successful in the regards of YouTube, I guess you can say. But on the grand scheme of things, there's only so much noise they can make. You need major network outlets, man, talking about this. Imagine if you turned on your TV on a Saturday morning and you got First Take or which Undisputed or something like that talking about, hey, Fury said he got COVID, but he's out in town like prancing around shirtless. Imagine the effect that would have. But nobody talked about it, man. But I guarantee you, if it was Wilder, media would have been all over it, man. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't convince me otherwise. But this is coming out of the man's mouth directly from Wilder himself. I don't believe the man had COVID. And he's making a mockery of this disease where people have actually lost family members. This ain't no joke. So imagine the amount of robust energy that Wilder is carrying into this fight. He's fighting for himself. He's fighting for his family. He's fighting for his fans. And he's fighting for all those people that were doubting him. And he's fighting for the people that have lost family members to this disease. All of this as a combination. What is Fury fighting for? Can somebody put it in the chat here? What is Fury fighting for? He got nothing to fight for except trying to protect his own pride. That's it. He buried himself. He buried himself months ago.
And for somebody to play around with it, look at his actions. Look at what he's done, been at different places and stuff like that. He definitely don't act like it. And my only thing that's upset me is that there's so many people out here, even family members that actually had COVID and actually fucking passed away from this shit. And for somebody to play around with it, I don't take it light. There's no fun and game in that. You know, anybody that had a loved one and that had it and had someone pass away from it, they don't take that lightly. For somebody to play around with this and stuff like that, because I truly don't believe he had it. And a lot of other people don't believe it as well. You know, I get a lot of information. You know, like I said, boxing is
boxing is a very close-knit community. And to Wilder's point, he hears things. Wilder don't got to do nothing but train in Alabama and focus for this fight. He'll get his information regardless. He'll get his information. Boxing is a close-knit community, man, all across the board. Straw weight all the way up to heavyweight. For real. Especially in the States. If you fighting and training in the States, all the boxers know, you know, the vast majority of them know each other, ran into each other at some point in their careers, met, talked, maybe went to each other's gyms, trained, whatever. Boxing is very unique, man. There's not many boxers that fight at this level. Less than 1% that make it to this level. They all know each other, man. This guy left this camp. This guy was a part of, you know, Fury's camp. He was one of his sparring partners, whatever the case is. They all know each other. So what Wilder's saying is is factual. He may have not seen it with his own eyes, but he's definitely receiving this information. I believe he's going to start talking about Fury, you know, based off, you know, I just said that he has little birdies outside, you know, people that were in Fury's camp. He's about to talk about that right now and express how he knows that Fury was getting touched up and pieced up and sparring.
I don't know how I would title it, but you know, I can't control what they're gonna do. We're just gonna have to see come October the 9th. I'm ready. You know, hopefully they're ready. Hopefully this little time that they delayed everybody.
I see people going back and forth, man. I see Jimmy in the chat, man. This is what Jimmy does. You know, he has his opinions and what have you. But look, Somebody in the chat, I don't have the time, man, because I'm trying to keep this focused on Wilder. Somebody remind Jimmy in the chat, please, on why Wilder said the things he did against Brazil. I think Jimmy doesn't have all of his information on why the fight ended the way it did. I mean, did you not see the fight, Jimmy? But somebody remind him why Wilder felt the way he felt against Brazil. Please, somebody in the chat remind this man.
Hopefully they got their priorities in line and straight. Hopefully they got their plan, their game plan of how they're gonna approach the fight. You know, if it took them to blame something on as COVID for them to strategize and not be ready, because you know you hear a lot of things in camps and stuff like that, you know, all the time. Yeah. And I know he wasn't doing well in camp. I know them young guys was piecing him up. I had a young guy in my camp was piecing him up. You know, he told me about a lot of stuff. So
he said, I have a young guy in my camp now that was piecing Tyson Fury up. Fury hasn't been training. Fury hasn't been taking this serious. Now, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt in the sense that if you feel like if Fury was taking training seriously and, you know, he was releasing footage, maybe not as much as Wilder, that's not necessary, but at least something to give us something to go off of, right? He's looking a bit trim. He's looking smooth. He's looking sharp. He's taking it seriously, et cetera, et cetera. I would understand, I may not agree with it, but I can understand where people can come from and say, Fury's just a better boxer. He's been doing it longer. And, you know, Wilder's going to have to dig deep and, you know, land a big punch. And I don't agree with that, but I understand why people would say that. But y'all don't even have the leg to stand on that now. The man is getting pieced up in sparring. I heard he was even dropped in sparring. No footage released of him doing basically anything. John Fury's scared for his son's life. Telling BT Sports, we need to get this man away from Sugar Hill. He ain't training right because Wilder's still the most dangerous puncher in the sport. That's what Big Daddy John said. I didn't say that. That's what Tyson Fury's own father said. Wilder is the most dangerous puncher in the heavyweight division. Yes, more than Joshua. So Fury fans literally have no leg to stand on whatsoever at this point. Wilder saying, I'm working with the young dude right now who was piecing Fury up. The man just said it in the podcast. This isn't 78 Sports saying it. This isn't Deontay's Boxing Nation saying it. This isn't Ego saying it. This is Deontay Wilder saying, I got people in my camp right now that were piecing up Tyson Fury in sparring.
I don't know how I would title it, but
listen again.
You know, I can't control what they're gonna do. We're just gonna have to see come October the 9th. I'm ready. You know, hopefully they're ready. Hopefully this little time that they delayed everybody. Hopefully they got their priorities in line and straight. Hopefully they got their plan, their game plan of how they're gonna approach the fight. You know, if it took them to blame something on as COVID for them to strategize and not be ready, because you know you hear a lot of things in camps and stuff like that, you know, all the time. Yeah. And I know he wasn't doing well in camp. I know them young guys was piecing him up. I had a young guy in my camp was piecing him up. You know, he told me about a lot of stuff. So you know, that's as far as I'm gonna go with it. But hopefully we get the fans what they want to see come October the 9th and put on a great.
So you guys heard it. I've been hearing a lot of stuff. I had a young man in my camp that was piecing him up. I got to be honest, man. I got a soft heart. And I must admit, I feel a little bit sorry for Tyson Fury fans. Just a little bit. It's this. the skies are going to be black on October 9th, man, for Tyson Fury fans. The sun will be shining for Wilder fans. The sun will be shining. Glorious day. But the skies will be black for Tyson Fury fans. And unfortunately, y'all going to have to eat your words, man. 4% of YouTube users will disappear on October 9th, man. That AKA Tyson Fury fans, they disappear off the face of the earth. They can't handle it. They can't handle that the Gypsy King got laid out. Look, people, look, man, this is not going to be a 12-round fight. So if you bought tickets or you're preparing a little barbecue at your house or you're going to invite your boys over to watch the fight, prepare for a short fight. Enjoy the undercard. All right, the undercards, you might get some 10, 12 rounders. But the main event, prepare for a short fight. Have your champagne on standby, ready to be popped open. Quick time. You know, get your beers and whatnot. Get it, order accordingly. After parties, plan it accordingly. It's going to be a short night. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Look, man, I made my video back in June, and I told people Wilder will smash Tyson Fury. And I made that video before all of this training footage has come out, before Wilder has come on record talking about what he knows about Fury's camp, before Fury got COVID, before Fury's daughter got sick, before we knew that Fury was getting dropped in sparring. I came on here, Divine Sense Boxing, in June and said he will get dropped. At that time, July 24th. And I was feeling confident and strong. Obviously, I made a video about it, understanding that I was going to get a lot of heat. And I was confident then. I'm even more confident now. I'm already starting to think about what's the situation going to be when Joshua Usyk is finished. And I'm thinking about the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. That's where I'm at right now. Before I was like, okay, maybe it'll be 12, maybe it'll be 10, maybe, Fury will try to box and be slippery and, Wilder's going to have to work to knock him out, but Wilder will win. But now I'm like, well, shit. Check my watch, 3-4 rounds probably, and I'm already thinking, who's Wilder going to fight next, man? Is he going to fight Joshua for the belt, or is he going to fight Usyk for the belts? When are we going to see that fight? June, July next year, something like that, fight in the UK. Hey, I'm already planning that. That's how confident I am. People are just now coming out here saying, oh, man, Wilder's looking good, and, I think he's going to win, which is fine. Like, obviously, we on the same team. But what I'm saying is, I made a video back in June. As a matter of fact, and the only person that may know this, I see Watcher jumping in the chat. Salute to Watcher, man, a.k.a. Reef. He's been a part of the channel since the beginning. When Wilder lost the second fight, I was in shock just like everybody else. I had to swallow that. I had to absorb that. And this channel didn't exist at that time. I had my original channel, but I wasn't really making videos anymore. But I went out of my way, got my phone out, and just recorded a quick video in my living room about 2 or 3 days after the fight was finished. And I said, man, the hate for Wilder is unreal. Like, the amount of clowning this man received, I've never seen in my life a heavyweight champion be clowned as much as Wilder was after he lost to Fury. People wanted Wilder to lose so badly. So badly. He got clowned, ridiculed, chastised, dragged through the mud. less than 24 hours after losing the fight. A champion. And yes, I get lit about this because I don't tolerate the disrespect for a man who has dedicated his life to the sport, steps through the ropes, and is a people's champion who respects the great heavyweights that came before him. And I made a video saying, yes, Wilder lost, because at that time we didn't know about the allegations and none of that. We just saw a man not look right and get smacked across the ring for 7 rounds. That's what we saw. We were in complete disarray and disbelief. We didn't know what to think. We were just shocked, right? And I came out and I said, yeah, Wilder lost, man. It is what it is. Like, you know, champions lose. But the disrespect is intolerable. It's just disgusting. And I made that video when I was inactive on YouTube. But I said at the end of that video, I said, Wilder will be back. He'll be back for vengeance. And that was before I even knew that there was a guaranteed third fight in the contract that Fury tried to duck. That Fury tried to get out of. He tried to pay his way out of it. But I told people, Wilder will be back. And he'll be champion again. And I waited. Walking through the smoke and the fog. Waited for the time to make a comeback. I came back early June. I made a mission in my mind to drop a video, let the people know that Divine Sense Boxing is back. First or second video I drop, Deontay Wilder will smash Tyson Fury. Talk about staying confident and firm in your convictions and beliefs. I don't waver. I don't falter. I don't bend. And like I said, all of the racist comments that I got. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People of your same color and ethnicity can be racist against you. As unbelievable that sounds. Tribalism at its finest. I've screenshotted it and I put it in the vault. You guys have no idea what I have planned. You guys have no idea what I have planned on this channel. If all those people that were making those comments to me don't disappear by themselves on October 10th, I'm going to make them disappear. And then at the very least, they'll never step foot into the kingdom of divine sense ever again. Because you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm ashamed of my own kind and all this other craziness. You know, how dare you not support? You're white. You got to support a white man, man. Listen, man. It's intelligence above all things in life. The intelligent ones are the ones who survive and prevail and are successful. You're able to put all that silliness to the side that corrupts the mind. All that, man, all that does is corrupt the mind. You get stuck in the mire. You know what I mean? And only the intelligent ones can filter through the BS. I usually don't get this hyped up this early in the morning. This morning for me. But it looks like Jimmy's disappeared. But look, man, that's the thing. Like, you can come in here. You can be a Joshua fan. You can be a Fury fan. You can be a fan of whoever you like and wish, right? But over here, man, I got a strong belief system. And like I said, I don't waver, I don't falter, I don't bend, I don't break. So if you come in here with whatever thoughts that you have, propaganda that you're trying to spew out, or whatever it may be prepared for war. Helmet strapped on, greaves on, shield up, sword out. We go to war out here. And you can come. But we got a unit here. We got a unit. So if you're ready to walk through the fire and the smoke, that's on you. But a lot of times, man, people don't make it. They don't survive. That's why I keep telling people. And this very quote is what Multimedia stole off my video and put it in their promotion video, is this fight is much more than vengeance. Oh, yeah, it's much more than that. Much, 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 much more. And just like I told you about Deontay Wilder being a people's champ, Deontay said in his interview with PBC, he said, "Oh, I see all the messages that I get in my inbox. I may not reply it. I may not read them all, but I see them coming in." That's the word of a true people's champ. And he said, "I want to specifically say and shout out to all the people who show me love and all the messages." What does that mean? That means he's in touch with reality. Right? And he knows how much this victory will mean to people. Not only for himself. And he's aware of certain people, YouTube channels to be specific, that have supported him, who have been dragged through the mud, and and specifically the LDBC, right? The LDBC has been ridiculed massively on YouTube by certain channels up here making videos, dragging people's name through the mud because they're Wilder fans, calling them Wilderettes and all this different craziness. Wilder's aware of this, man. So he's putting the people on his back. Now he's putting the whole country on his back as well. Let's not forget about that. And the new heavyweight champion of the world, bringing the belt back where it belongs. No disrespect to the UK, but I'm an American at the end of the day. What do you expect? You expect me to pamper your little behind and be soft and gentle? This is a fight. This is a fight we talking about. We can be gentlemen and be respectful, but at the end of the day, the belt's coming back. And after he takes care of Fury, he's going to go, if it's Joshua, he's probably go to the UK and take care of him too. And take all the belts back. And if it's Usyk, then I guess it's got to be Usyk then. As soon as you guys swoop up in here, man, make sure you hit that like button. Get the likes all the way up. I know that it's late where you're at, so I didn't expect too much of a massive crowd, but I would like to get at least 60 likes if it's possible. Get about 60 likes on this live stream before I call it a day. Let me go up here and see if I missed anything interesting. Killer on the Run goes on ahead and says, we will be destroyed. He will be destroyed in the ring. Tyson Fury must suffer. It has to happen. It's the will of God. Yeah, man. I mean, I like to say it's the will of the gods. You know what I mean? That's one of my sayings. Well, for real. Yo, Stormy B in the building. I'm not sure if you're still here, Stormy. Let me know if you're still in here, Stormy, because I'll probably let you jump in here if you want to, just to spice up this conversation a little bit before I get up out of here. But if you're not here anymore, thanks for stopping by, because you might watch this later. Felix says the public needs to see the fight breakdown of Wilder Fury 2. Even Ray Charles can see Wilder wasn't right in that fight. Felix, I almost breaking my back at this point trying to tell people, man, they got to watch that film study. And FYI for everybody, I've already sent Malik Scott a message. Hopefully he reads it. I would love to have him on the show and speak to him. And at the very least, if he's not able to do it, let him know about that film study, if that's something that they would like to see. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do what I can. And I think for me, I'm still relatively a new channel. And I don't have any like official like Divine Sense boxing media channels, man. I mean, YouTube is enough for me. I have a Twitter, that's about it. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll catch his eye, but I'm just letting you guys know that I am trying to get some connection with that side. Deshaun Thompson, what's good, man? He said these damn Cowboys about to take 10 years off my life. I didn't see the fight, man. Did they fight already? I don't typically, man, because I'm overseas, right? I don't typically watch other teams play other than the Cardinals. I've got the NFL Game Pass, and I just usually just watch the Cardinals play. But yeah, man, I didn't see it, bro. I didn't see it. I might go back and watch the highlights. Devontae Moss, man, what's good? He says October 9th, Wilder gonna have Justice 100. Fury, he's cooked. Respect. Techoa says, uh-oh, I'm in this B now. Hell yeah. Shout out to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. All right, yeah. So Stormy, you still in here? You wanna jump in here, Stormy? You good, or you just wanna just watch the show? Just let me know in the chat. As a matter of fact, what I'll go ahead and do, I don't typically do this except on Saturday nights for the Firestorm, but I'll go ahead and drop the link if anybody is willing to jump in here. I'll drop the link and I'll go live here for probably another 15 to 20 minutes or so. And so I'll go ahead and drop the link. Anybody wants to join in, you can join in. Something I usually do, like I said, on Saturdays, but I'll make an exception for tonight. Choa says, hey, bro, you should be the first guy to do a video on Canelo being stolen as a kid. Damn. I'm gonna have to research all that. See, that's the thing about me, man, is it's probably one of my weak points is I don't really get into a lot of the politics of stuff. I mean, I'm very like analytical person. And I look at boxing in a viewpoint of the sport. I don't, people talk about controversies and PEDs and Oscar De La Hoya dressing up in drag and all this crazy stuff. Like I hear about it, like you're dropping this comment here, and like I'm now learning about it, but I don't really get into it, man. But that's crazy. Stolen as a kid, damn. I'll have to look into it. Stormy says, "Oh, I'm just watch for now, having a late snack after the live stream." Oh, definitely. I know, man. Live streams, we put a lot of work in this, people. We do put a lot of work. Sometimes we don't eat. Sometimes I go live and I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat dinner, and that's a dedication. That's that dedication right there. It's like a fight, though. Underestimating Fury is a mistake. Sorry about that. Some window just popped up. I got Wilder though by KO. Oh, I don't think he's underestimating Fury. I think in the beginning he was very hyper focused and very in tuned and watching a lot of film with Malik, and I think they were taking it very seriously, Hoplo. But I think now as time has gone on, and they're seeing all the stuff that has came to fruition about him not training. He's getting word that he's being dropped in sparring, and there's more and more proof in the pudding now, right? So now it's not that he's taking him lightly. He's just like just getting more comfortable, I guess, but in a good way, where he doesn't have to stress himself out as much, and I think that this is like his 5th training camp or something like that. All of the hard work and stress and the film studies and thinking about all the things that he did wrong, that's all been done. That's been done now. They're going into the final 3 weeks of the fight. Like I said early in this live stream, and I know Hoplo, you joined a little bit later, but right now, it's all about the finishing touches, the final 3 weeks leading up to a fight. Keeping your body fresh, getting that weight that you want to be at, eating good, recovering good. Right now it's all about being sharp, especially for Wilder, because he's put all the work in. And I won't be surprised if Malik gives him a couple days off before the actual fight. He may say, Wednesday will be the last day of training, rest up, Thursday, Friday's weigh in, Saturday we go. Rest the body up. Fury, though, he's not in that situation. He probably has to grind if he is going to try to grind. These next 3 weeks, he's got to grind how Wilder grinded 2 months ago. He has to condense his training massively. And that's not a position you want to be in going into a heavyweight championship bout, a trilogy. When your opponent knows a lot about you. It's not the first time they're meeting up. Fury knows a lot about Wilder, but here's the thing, people. Wilder actually knows more about Fury. Here's why. First fight, Fury boxed. Wilder saw that. He knows how he uses the jab. He knows how slippery he is. He knows he uses the shoulder roll when he gets up on the ropes or get caught in the corner. He knows the little tricky clinches that he does. All the little intricate boxing details that Fury has done most of his career, right? He learned that in the first fight. He also learned that I can catch him and I can drop him and I can hurt him if he tries to box. Then he saw a different version of Fury in the second fight who tried to walk him down. So he has seen 2 versions of Fury. Fury has only seen 1 version of Wilder because there was no version of Wilder in the second fight. Let me repeat that. There was no version of Wilder in the second fight. The man didn't even have his legs going into the first round. He was dragging his back leg around the ring going into the third round. So the only thing that Fury can really judge off of is of what he saw in the first fight. And if they're planning, if he truly believes, which I don't truly believe that he believes that Wilder came in prepared for the second fight and I just destroyed him and he didn't have an answer for it. I don't believe he believes that. I believe that he believes that Wilder was having the worst night of his career and he took advantage of it and got the victory. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have that much of an idea of what Wilder can bring to the table. But Wilder knows what Fury can bring to the table. What can Fury really do any different? Everybody talks about how Wilder can't do anything different. What about Fury? What can Fury do differently? And if you're someone who says, well, maybe he doesn't have to do anything different because what he did the second time worked so well. Well, you're missing the point, people. You're missing the point. Y'all saw the training video that we dissected earlier, right? My last live stream. He's literally training. That type of training is Malik Scott is walking forward with the body shield, walking forward, forcing Wilder to move, to punch the body, dip underneath punches and throw. He was throwing 5 punch combinations to the body, people. 5 punch combination to the body. That's what you do. Boxing 1-on-1, that's what you do against a pressure fighter. See, the pressure fighter, He thinks he can pressure you and throw body shots. But what a boxer does to deal with the pressure fighter is actually go to the body, because you deter them from trying to pressure. And you see, I mentioned it briefly on Stormy B. He was live earlier. And I said, I feel like, in my opinion, the way I see the fight playing out, considering that Fury, he's not having a good training camp leading into the fight. So there's a very high possibility that he's going to come out first round and try to do what he did in the second fight, just to see if he can get away with it. Just to test Wilder, to see if Wilder's training is legit. Is he truly prepared like he's trying to have me believe? I think he's going to come out first round and try to walk down Wilder and throw looping punches and try to get on the inside and just bully him, weigh him down, see if he can get into the clinches and throw in the sneaky rabbit punches and pull his head down and just start that whole wear and tear process right from the get-go. But I don't think it's going to work. And I think that Wilder is going to show the improvements that he has made. And every time Wilder tries to walk him down, he's going to pump that jab into his face, slip underneath, body, pivot back out the other side. Angles. Pivot out to the left, pivot out to the right. Jab, duck underneath, body. Slide out. First round. And then what is Wilder going to do? He's going to say, well, this ain't going to work. All I'm going to do is wear myself down. Fury is not a pressure fighter. For all the people that say Wilder can't change because he's been this way for a long time, Fury can't change either. He's not a pressure fighter. He can't fight going forward. He is a boxer. He's always been a boxer, fighting off the back foot, waiting for fighters to come to him so he can try to jab, throw a little flick and jab out there, an occasional 1-2 left hooks, slide out, and use his defense to win fights. That's how Fury has always conducted himself in his entire career. We have an anomaly in the second fight on a night that Wilder was at his complete worst. And it's just not going to happen again. It's just not. So Fury will revert back to trying to box. First, second round. He's going to go back on the back foot and said, okay, now I'm going to try to switch it up and see if Wilder now is willing to walk me down, and I'm going to try to box my way out of this. That's how I see it happening. And Wilder's going to say, okay, bet, take a deep breath. Now he can start planting his foot. See, when you're being pressured, it's actually a little bit easier to plant your feet because you got to make sure you're not going to get cornered. You're not going to be up on the ropes. You're not going to be in the corner. So you can throw jab, slide underneath, body, but you got to roll out constantly so you don't get cornered, right? But if Fury decides to box, now Wilder can actually set his feet. And the most feared punch that Fury has in this fight is obviously the straight right hand. But you see, Malik Scott is mechanical. He said, we're going to go to the body. We're going to go to the body. We're going to go to the body. We're going to jab. We're going to left hook to the body. Body. And the head will open up. I see a straight right hand knocking out Fury. Yep. A body shot. Body shot's going to wear him down. Body shot's going to hurt him. Body shot's going to wear him down. Body shot's going to make him leery, make him aware, which ultimately will open up the head, man. I just see a bazooka nuclear bomb to Fury's face. Knockout, straight right hand down the pipe. That's what I see. That's how way I see it playing out. You guys just got a whole analysis right there. I play out the whole fight for you. So plan accordingly. Barbecue ready. Bring your grill out. Prepare everything. Quick night, people. That's how it's going to play out. And if I don't make it to Vegas on October 9th, well, I'll be here guaranteed live I'll have my confetti. I have my confetti ready, man. The last wrinkle, be ready for Fury using southpaw to try and confuse Wilder. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. I think that's going a bit too deep with it. I think there's going to be a dose of his own medicine, in the sense that Fury has built his whole campaign on Wilder can't make adjustments. He can't make adjustments. He's always going to resort back to what he knows best. And that's how he's built his campaign. But Wilder's going to give him a taste of his own medicine. He's going to prove to people that it's actually Fury who couldn't make the adjustments. But Wilder did. That's what I think. Play a little bit more of Wilder speaking.
Show for the fans and make history once again.
Now, with all the energy you spent to get Fury back in the ring, all the effort that you've put into your own preparation, I mean, we've seen some of it on social media. It seems like you've been training forever. Should your fans be concerned that you've expended a lot of energy in camp that you might not have enough left for the fight?
Nah, not at all. I mean, if anything, my fans should be excited that the king has returned or is returning it. The fight hasn't happened yet, but so when the fight does happen, I have returned. But we're planning on returning. Hopefully, he's confident enough to go through and not make up anything or have anything go wrong. So I just want my fans to know that I'm very happy.
With Melio payments, you can pay with
PBC going buck wild with these ads, man. Literally like every minute. No joke.
Great place. I've been in a great place for all these years, for this, past year or so that's passed by, and they should look for a new Deontay Wilder. Reinvented Deontay Wilder, something that they've never seen before. We've been working very hard, and the time that we didn't had off, we've been doing nothing but work. Many times we had to take a few breaks.
Work.
Didn't want to burn out, But although my body rested, my mind was still at it. And then when it was time to work, you connect your body and your mind and soul together when it was time to go, and that's what we're doing now. So we didn't have to take breaks throughout because we didn't want to burn out. We didn't want. You can burn out of training. You can.
Yeah, he's talking about training a little bit now, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like right now, it's just the refinement, right? Just the last 3 weeks leading up to the fight is just making sure that you stay healthy and just taking care of your body. The work has been done in regards to Wilder. So I just want to say something here. I see somebody saying in the chat that that the fight against Malik was BS. I'm pretty sure that Malik, I think he came out in an interview after that fight, and people were asking him, or they basically said, hey, a lot of people thought the fight was fixed. And Malik adamantly said, the dude hit me with the hook that messed up my equilibrium, and I couldn't get up. So he's addressed it. We can sit up here all day long and talk about the fight being fixed all day long. Wilder said it wasn't fixed. Malik himself talked about the fight and talked about the shot that he was hit with and that it wasn't fixed. I mean, at this point, if that fight was fixed, then was Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson fixed? I mean, we can go down the long line of history of boxing and talk about fixed fights. Was the first fight between Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston fixed? even the second fight for that matter. So I don't think that's a rabbit hole that you want to go down. But if that's your opinion, that's fine, man. Yeah, all Fury is doing is setting himself to get humbled real bad. It's yeah, and I think right now it's Fury's probably. Fury is a prideful man. Let's not get it twisted here. He's a very prideful man. He's got a lot of ego, a lot of bravado, and he will not go down easily. Okay, he is not the type of guy to get hurt and quit. All right. Wilder will have to knock him out cold. That's it. There's no like, oh, he's out of shape, and he's just gonna quit on the stool, or he refused to get up at the count of 10, even though he looks like he could get up. I don't think that's gonna happen. He's gonna have to knock out Fury cold, because Fury is a very prideful man. But I think there's a part of him that is preparing himself mentally. Like, he knows he's been around the fight game long enough to know that he hasn't been training properly. I mean, he's trying to gas himself up, and his team obviously is trying to do their part to keep him motivated and engaged, because they know October 9th is creeping up. But I think deep down in his soul, I feel like he's already starting to contemplate, like, okay, if I lose, how is it going to be for me? Like, what's my next step? He's already contemplating that, in my opinion. And that's just because, like I said, he's been around long enough to know that he's not prepared for this fight. He's going to try. He's going to try his hardest. He's not going to give up, and he'll do every little trick in the book to try and survive. He's going to clinch. He's going to do dirty stuff. He's going to try to get away with whatever he can to try to get Wilder out of his game plan. And this is why Malik is so crucial, because Malik is instilling that discipline and patience. That's why Wilder said, our mind is violence, but we're approaching the fight with calmness. And Wilder has been known in fights in past where he lets his emotions get the best of him sometimes. And he's a very prideful man himself. We saw that in the first Ortiz fight when Ortiz hurt him. And he was like trying to go toe to toe. Like, that was a very dangerous gamble that he did there. And he was able to come out on top. But we got two very prideful men in the ring on October 9th. Don't get it twisted. Both of these men do not want to lose. Obviously, for Fury, all the shit that he's been talking leading up, he knows that he's going to have to be held accountable and eat his words if he gets knocked out. And like I said, Wilder's not going to win by decision. If Wilder wins, it's going to be by knockout. And Fury knows that. So I'm actually looking more like I'm already pretty much established that this is going to be a knockout. I don't know when it's going to come, but it's going to come, like Wilder says. But I'm more interested now, because of my confidence level of it ending in a knockout. I'm looking forward to the post-fight interview. What is Fury going to say? Is he going to be a true professional and say, look, Wilder was a better man, and respect to Wilder? There's been a lot of turmoil leading up to this, and it's all been established, and it's done now. He knocked me out. Respect to the champ. Because that's what a respectful professional person would do. Or is he going to come out and say, I didn't train properly for this fight. I didn't really want the fight. My daughter was sick. I had COVID. And I came in here not prepared, but, I did what I could. And just make up excuses. Which Fury are we going to get? post-fight. I'm dead serious. Because when the fight was stopped in the second fight, Mark Breland threw in the towel. Wilder obviously visibly very upset because he's a warrior. He wants to go out on a shield. You got to respect that. We've talked about this before. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, but Devon, man, he was taking a lot of punishment, and Mark Breland did the right thing. He saved Wilder. Well, that's just one perspective. But there's a few problems with that analysis. First, let me focus on the fighter's perspective. And we've talked about this before. Stormy and I specifically have spoken about this online and offline. That I can only give you my personal opinion because this is a subjective opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, like, does a trainer throw in the towel, not throw in the towel? It's a subjective opinion. Every trainer operates a little bit differently. They have their own theories on how to protect the fighter, let the fighter fight on, et cetera, et cetera. Every trainer is a little bit different. So I can only speak off of my personal experience and my personal opinion, and I tend to favor and understand the fighter a little bit more, maybe perhaps than others. And I've worked in corners before as an assistant, being part of the strength and conditioning coaching side of things, and I've been invited to be an extra motivator in corners. And for me, a fighter tells me and looks me in my eyes and says, no matter what, it doesn't matter what happens, don't stop the fight. If I'm on my feet and I'm not laid out, if I'm on my feet and you can see that I'm still willing to fight, don't stop the fight no matter what. For me, I give the fighter that honor. For me, it comes down to honor. Honor goes a long way with me. And I'll tell you why. Despite the fact that, I'm a spiritual person, number one. Number two, I'm a historian. I'm a history buff, and I believe in the old ways, the ancient ways of honor and respect. But on top of that, as a boxer, a modern day gladiator, because that's basically what they are. Everybody around you, your mom, your wife, your brothers, your cousins, your uncles, your friends, everybody in your circle, they know, they accept who you are. They accept the risks that you take. The risk that you take to obtain glory. Sometimes glory, trying to obtain glory, comes with the ultimate price. That's what it is in a gladiator sport. So everybody knows this. They accept that. And God forbid something bad happened to Wilder. We would all felt bad about it. But again, it's something that's widely understood and accepted by everybody involved. And ultimately, the fighter's in there. And so for me, the code of honor goes a long way, man. And I give that fighter respect. Now, if they make it to the corner and sits on the stool, I'll tell them for sure. I'll be like, look, man, you ain't looking good, man. You ain't looking good. You better show me something, man, because now you're making it difficult for me. You're making it difficult. I'm going to warn them. I'm going to tell them, But for me, throwing in the towel is just... And, so for me, I kind of refer back to, let's put it in perspective a little bit. Let's put it in perspective. Do you think that when Floyd Mayweather was beating the dog shit out of Diego Corrales, right? Y'all remember that fight, the fight that everyone said that Diego too big, too strong, too long, too much power for Mayweather. Mayweather went in there and put on a clinic, dropped him down several times, and ultimately his corner threw in the towel. And Diego was upset about it. Go back and watch the fight. Diego ran to the corner. I think it was his stepdad or something like that. Who threw in the towel, and he was visibly upset. Do you think, and you can let me know in the chat here, do you think that was a good call? Do you think that they made the right call by throwing in the towel against Diego Corrales? Because Diego probably would have stayed on his feet until he couldn't fight anymore. So that's an interesting question to bring up to the chat. But what we don't know is Duke Todd was good. What we don't know is, did Diego have a conversation with his stepdad or whoever it was? I keep saying stepdad because I think it was his stepdad that was in the corner. But did they have a conversation prior where Diego said, I don't care what happens, don't throw in the towel? We don't know this, but we do know that Wilder communicated that to Breland probably more than once. Probably more than once, because that's the type of person that Wilder is. And is it a tough call? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's a tough call as a coach. But this is another issue that I have as well. I want people to understand. Is that Corrales' trainer, stepdad, I think it was, went up to the apron, right? Went ringside, stepped onto the ropes, waved the towel, threw the towel at the referee. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, if you're going to throw the towel in, number one, you got to warn the fighter that you're going to stop the fight, which I don't think Breland did. Number two, you got to go up on the apron and throw the towel at the referee, wave the towel, hoot and holler, do whatever you got to do, right? You got to be serious about it, because it is very serious when you throw in a towel to stop a fighter that you know that wants to continue to fight. You accept that responsibility as a trainer. Like, if you step that boundary, you know the fighter ain't going to be happy about it. You know you're going to go back in the locker room, probably have a conversation about it, right? It's not an easy decision. Boxers have pride. But that's the issue I have, is two things. These two things really stand out to me, because people try to make the argument. They try to, I don't think anybody's ever brought up the Diego Corrales Floyd Mayweather. I think I'm the first one to ever bring it up. But this is how transparent I am. I say, cool, like, I get it. Was it a good stoppage to stop Diego? Yeah, it probably was. He was dropped several times by punches to the face, mind you. Yeah? Not punches in the back of the head. He was being dropped by punches to the face and having combos landed on him. But his trainer, his stepdad, whoever it is, went to the boxing apron, waved the towel, and then ultimately threw the towel at the referee to stop the fight. Mark Breland didn't do anything. And as a matter of fact, if you go back and watch the Diego Corrales fight, he told Diego, the ref told Diego, and the trainer told Diego, look, man, you ain't looking good, bro. If you don't do something, we're going to stop the fight. I did a film study of the second fight. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Mark Breland didn't do any of that. Mark Breland never warned Wilder. They put the camera on the corner pretty much after every single round. When Breland was giving Wilder water, even though he said he never handled the water. Fire emoji. He said he never handles the water. That's what he said in an interview when he was accused of spiking water. He said he never handles water, but yet he was giving Wilder water after every single round. But the camera was on the corner after every single round. And Mark Breland was hardly saying nothing. Wilder's in a dead space. The dude is just, he's glossy-eyed. He's beside himself. He doesn't know what's going on with his body. And the one person he needs the most is his trainer. He needs you. He needs your motivation. He needs your guidance. He needs your instructions. He needs you to tell him, you ain't looking good. But Breland ain't saying nothing. Except a few, just throw the left hook. What trainer does that? What trainer does that? The answer is it doesn't happen. And not only that, he throws the towel sitting down ringside. I've never seen that. I've never seen all the years I've been watching boxing. And we've got the sensei in the building too. He can probably tune in on this. I've never seen a trainer throw a towel from a seated position sitting ringside. I've never seen that happen. So, not only did you never warn Wilder, because I don't have any problem, like real talk. If a fighter tells me pre-fight, training camp, whatever it is, and we have a honest, ardent conversation, he says, "Look, man, whatever happens, don't stop the fight." Like I feel you. Like we established that code of honor. I got you. But I promise you this: if you looking like dog shit and you getting beat up and you bleeding and you ain't doing nothing, I'm gonna tell you to your face, you looking terrible right now. And it's getting to the point where I may not even have to stop it. The ref might stop it. So you bet if you think you ain't got it, if you think that you're at the point where you can't fight and you're just going to get in there and get beat up, then maybe you need to call it. There's no shame in it. Live to fight another day. That's what I would tell my fighter. But if you feel like you got something left, you got to dig deep in you. You got something left? Yeah, I do. Oh, you better show it then. You better dig deep then. Breland doesn't have that energy. He doesn't have that ability. Standing there just pouring water in his mouth, looking at him. Say something! And I'm watching the fight. I'm watching the fight live. And I'm just so shell-shocked. I'm just like, what is going on? I didn't even have the brain capacity at the time to really think about what was going on in the corner. But that's exactly why I did the film study. Because I'm like, I got to watch this, man, from a different perspective. You know, put the mute button on and watch it from beginning to end. And we found some very revealing stuff. Go watch the film study on my channel if you haven't seen it. And we got this guy, Marco Los. Obviously, I feel like he's a non-believer. Marco Los is a non-believer. Film study. That's all I can say to you, bro. Film study. You don't believe what I'm saying? You don't got to take my word for it. I'm just a dude on YouTube with the microphone. Don't take my word for it. Watch the footage for yourself. If you're going to come up here and say, hey, he did the right thing, he saved Wilder. 3 things. 1, if you're going to break the code of honor, you better do it the right way. And by doing it the right way goes into number 2. 2, you got to warn the man. 3, if you're going to throw in the towel, you better do it right. You don't throw it down from a seated position, sit in ringside, and then have a nonchalant look on your face. And the only reason why you finally made your way up to the ring apron is because Wilder was shocked, and he walked over and was like, "What? Who stopped the fight?" And JD's is like, "It wasn't me." JD's like, "It wasn't me." And then Breland comes up to the ropes and says, "Oh, I stopped it because your ear's bleeding." He kept pointing at Wilder's ear. And Wilder's like, "So? My ear's bleeding. So what?" People are missing the point. People are missing the point that I'm trying to make. They're so fixated on the fact that Wilder was getting beat up and Breland did the right thing by saving his fighter. But you got to look deeper into this. Y'all claim, I'm not just attacking Marco Los. Maybe Marco Los is just a casual fan, or maybe he, I don't know. But the people that are content creators out here who claim to be big boxing fans, who claim to know about this and that in the sport. Mark Breland is a gentleman of the sport. He's never done anything wrong to people. Everybody in the community loves Mark Breland. He's a champ. He's a former champ. People get so bent out of shape that people throw Mark Breland's name under the bus, and more specifically, content creators who happen to be black, they take it to another level and say we hate Wilder even more now because he threw a fellow black man under the bus. Not only is he a former world champion and an esteemed individual in the boxing community, everybody loves him, but Wilder, a man who advocates for justice and supports black people, threw another black man under the bus. This is what people are saying. But it's only because they're fixated on he saved Wilder. But they don't understand, even though they claim to understand the sport of boxing, they don't understand the small, intricate details that it takes to understand the depths, the deep and dark depths of boxing that boxing casuals don't understand. So I don't get upset at casual fans having their opinion about the fight being stopped. That, like, it's more so towards the content creators out here, because they got a platform. They have subscribers. Let me make it clear. Let me make it abundantly clear. TS says if he cares for Wilder, he would have walked away 8 years ago when he knew we couldn't help him anymore technically. That's another point. How you going to be with a man so long and then you're with Malik Scott less than a year and you're already showing immense amount of improvements? But that's another topic. Hamilton Steele says, I disagree with you, Divine Sense, on this one. I'm rooting for Wilder, but if that fight continued, it would have ended on his back. I have to keep it real. So let me make the record clear here, okay? Do I have a problem with the stoppage? Was Wilder getting beat up? Yes. Was Wilder in trouble? Yes. Was Wilder hurt? Yes. Did Wilder have enough in the tank to pull off a miracle? I'm doubtful. Do I have a problem with the stoppage? Not necessarily. But in caps, I have a problem with the way that it was stopped. Do you understand what I'm saying, Hamilton Steele? He never warned Wilder. He never had a conversation with Wilder about his conditioning, about the way he's looking, about the simple fact that you are not showing me anything, Wilder. You're putting me in a tough position, Wilder. I may have to stop the fight, Wilder. You can't give Breland the benefit of the doubt. It's not Wilder's fault that the man is soft-spoken in a championship fight where Wilder is putting his life on the line and the man doesn't use his fucking voice. Then on top of that, you throw the towel ringside, which has never happened. Tell me another example where a trainer threw the towel sitting down ringside. We got Sensei in the building. We got a man that's been watching the sport 20, 30 years. In the chat right now. If you're going to throw the towel in, you better do it right. That's my problem. And when Wilder says he has a disloyal trainer, that's what he means. So I wanted to make the record clear here on my channel. Watcher said, we got channels out here making videos now saying Wilder's technique is poor in the new video. Absolute clowns. Like, I'm glad that you watch it, Watcher, because you come off as a man with a lot of patience, and I admire that. I admire people with patience. It's always been an Achilles heel with me. I don't have patience. I get heated up, as you can tell on the microphone right now. I have my pet peeves and I have my triggers. I'm glad you can watch it. Because my thing is, I watch people do this and I just start calling people out. And that's what happened to me a month or so ago when I was invited on the Boxing Voice, and this Mark Breland situation was brought up. And I was down 3-1. I had 3 guys against 1, just me up here trying to state my case. And then I was cut off. Wasn't able to have a rebuttal. But that's fine. But that's the way I am. If you're gonna be up here talking all this clownish shit, then I can't help myself. I call people out, and then I get distracted from what I need to do over here on Devon Sense Boxing. That's why I don't go around and watch those videos. Okay, not a casual fan. Okay, fine. You claim not to be a casual fan. Then you understand all the points I just made, right? You understand all the points I just made, right? I don't know about you, but I've been talking about the sport and been involved around the sport, grew up around boxing gyms, since I can remember. So I'll take your word for it. You're not a casual fan. Cool. So you understand all the points I just made, right? I just want to make sure. Because you're right. I don't want to accuse you. But I'm saying, you got to at least say, I understand what you're saying. Because if you don't understand what I'm saying, then I'm sorry. I can't consider you anything more than a casual fan. It's not about agreeing with me. It's about understanding the perspective. Because I'm coming with the perspective that I have watching the fight being stopped the way that it was stopped. I will go out on a limb and say that Wilder's fiance and kids were elated that Breland threw in the towel. Interesting. Mika, what's good, man? He says sometimes it runs fighters like Vargas and David Reed. Yeah. TS Boxing. Marco Los is a casual. Yeah, I mean, have words with him, man. Have words. Chazamain says, talk to him, man. I'm talking, bro, but, man, I don't know if people are getting it. I don't know if it's sinking in. Wilder was like, let the ref stop it at least, but whatever, you don't throw in the towel. That's another point, man. Wilder wasn't far away from the ref stopping it. Let's just be real. It wasn't far away. Who was the ref? It was Kenny Bayless, right? It was Kenny Bayless in the second fight. I don't think Kenny was that far away from fighting it for stopping it. Now I don't know. I'll have to go back and double check if Kenny went to the corner and spoke to Mark or spoke to Wilder, because referees do that, right? We all know that. We watch boxing. If a referee sees that a fighter is getting beat up, they'll go to the corner and say, you got to show me something or I'm going to stop it. So I don't know if Kenny did that. I have to go back and watch. But think about it this way. If Kenny doesn't give Wilder a warning, if Breland doesn't give him a warning, if JD's doesn't give him a warning, if nobody gives the man a warning, he's going to keep fighting, isn't he? Maybe, who knows? Maybe he thought, well, maybe Fury will burn out. Maybe he'll get tired from trying to knock me out. He can't knock me out. Maybe I can grab some rounds, 9, 10, and maybe I'll recover and I'll try to land something. We don't know what was going on in Wilder's mind. What we do know is he refused to be knocked out. That's what we do know. Breland was a great fighter, but I never believed he was a good teacher, and he's a horrible communicator, just my opinion. And that's a very strong and respectable opinion, because I made this comment on Drew's video the other day where I said great fighters don't always make great coaches. Fighting and coaching are two different things. Case in point, Angelo Dundee, Virgil Hill. And a lot of times, man, you get guys, I think it was Ricky Williams who made the point as well, that sometimes you get fighters who did box, but they didn't go far. Maybe because of injuries or physical limitations, or life took over. They had deaths in the family. Whatever. There's so many different reasons, right? But they have a love and a passion for the sport, and they go on and become trainers and become brilliant trainers. Then you have people that never fought a professional fight before, but they grew up around the boxing ring. They grew up around their uncles fighting, their brothers fighting, whatever. They grew up in the streets fighting and boxing. Boxing is a poor man's sport, right? People come from the streets and they just go in a boxing ring and just box, but they never take it to the level of wanting to be a boxer, right? But they understand the sport, and they have the abilities and the skill sets to be great coaches. See, that's the difference, right? When you're fighting, you're training to be a fighter. You're training, you eat shit and sleep boxing. You don't ever have the time to really try to harness your coaching skills, really. You may flirt around with the idea. You maybe help some young fighters when you're not training for a fight. You got some off season. Yeah. But when you're sitting from the outside and you're not having to train and discipline your body as a boxer, because even though a boxer's not training for a fight, they still got to take care of their bodies. Most boxers do, right? So when you're on the outside and you just sit and stand ringside constantly, growing up around the gym, watching fighters, studying the moves, listening to other great trainers, and you learn, you absorb, and you start developing your coaching skills. And coaching is a skill. Greg Popovich, great coach. He has a skill for it. Phil Jackson, average player, nothing great, no special effects, phenomenal coach. So there's so many cases in point here and examples of that. Do I feel like trainers should have some type of knowledge of how it feels to be punched in the face? To actually, you got to be able to help a fighter come out of a dark place when you're getting punched. Yeah, sure. Definitely. They should have some type of knowledge. So I guess the point is that if you grow up boxing but never make it professional, or maybe never even went into the amateur career, but you boxed, you put on a pair of gloves, you boxed. You just so happen to be born with the skill to be able to coach and help people. In comparison to world championship fighter, has seen it all, has done it all, becomes a coach, but has no coaching skill whatsoever, doesn't know how to communicate, doesn't know how to connect with the fighter, which trainer would you choose? Which coach would you choose? I guess that's the question for the chat. GK says the ref probably would have stopped it anyway a round or two later, but Breland throwing in the towel was the last straw, in my opinion. Yep, I agree. Marco says, I understand, but I just don't agree. Okay, that's fine. Did you see this clown Showbiz saying Fury has more power than Wilder? Who the hell is Showbiz? The fact that I don't know him is probably a good thing. A lot of chat going on, guys. I'm not going to be able to read all of it. Like I said, if you guys want to highlight something, you want me to read it and give it some attention, I would appreciate a super chat, man, because there's a lot in here, and I don't want to go through all of it. Mika says, I love Stewart and Buddy McGritt as trainers. Yep, that's another example. Calzaghe's dad was good for never having boxed. Yep. There are examples, people. There are anomalies. There always are. There always are. Hey, Divine, there's not need to get heated up. If people do not agree with you, it's fine to have an opinion. I see people already jumping and calling names and etc. I'm not getting heated up at you per se. I'm getting heated up about the conversation. And for me personally, like I said, my frustration is more so at the content creators out here. If you're a boxing fan and you subscribe to my channel and you like my content and you come in here, you engage, you hit the like button, you're respectful, I don't got a problem with you, obviously. My frustration is more towards the content creators who spin this narrative, and basically they accuse Wilder of being a sore loser. And they accuse Wilder of throwing another black man under the bus. That's what I got a problem with. It's not about that. They make it about that. They make it racial. They say, oh, a black man, threw another black man on the bus. They make it that way. We don't make it that way. For us, for those who agree with Wilder firing Breland and agreeing that, he has suspicion of his water being spiked, for those who agree with that analysis, for us, it's not about race. It's simple. You feel like you got a snake in your garden, yeah? You walk outside to go to work in the morning, and you see a snake slithering in the grass. Now, that might be a non-poisonous snake that's eating up, the rodents and the insects that eat up your garden. Maybe that snake does some good, but at the end of the day, a snake's a snake, and a snake gonna bite you. Doesn't matter what kind of snake it is. I don't know about you. I see a snake. That snake's got to go. That snake's got to go. Snake is a snake. And it may be perceived that Mark Breland's a good snake, but nonetheless is a snake. And so that's what he did. He made a change. He made it a needed change. And that change that he made, obviously, is Malik Scott. And we're starting to see the benefits of that change already. If he would have stuck with Mark Breland, never brought up the water spiked allegation, and just accepted his defeat, which is what everybody wanted him to do. Just accept your defeat, Wilder. Nothing would have changed. His training wouldn't have changed. Nothing would have changed. The animosity between Wilder and Breland, which they had before the fight even started, they were having animosity for months, if not longer, before the second fight. Stated by both Wilder and Breland. They weren't seeing eye to eye. So everything goes back to the same, because everybody wants Wilder to be a nice guy. And trust me when I say this, with or without the water spike allegation, if Wilder would have said, I'm going to fire Breland because I didn't like the fact that he threw in the towel, and I don't think I'm improving in my training. People still would have got upset about it because Wilder fired a fellow black man. That's what they would have said. So it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. He's being honest about something that he feels. And when honesty should be the best policy, he's getting criticized for that. It is widely known that Wilder and Breland's relationship was already on shaky ground. Perhaps the towel was the final straw. Yeah, it definitely was. Dave says, give me Virgil Hunter. Yeah. Showbiz the adult. Oh, I think I've seen him pop up my feed a few times. I don't know anything about him. Can't speak about it. I maybe maybe clicked on something. But I don't really remember. But I've seen his name pop up, and it seems to me that I'm not missing anything. Kas. New to the channel, but love the content. Keep up the great work, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, man. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing as well. Feel free to tell your friends and family, have them join the conversation, grow the family, grow the voice. That's what it's all about. TS Boxing, I've had conversations on Blue Blood Boxing, Counterpunch, and Showbiz Adult, and nobody has ever said that. Said what? Marco Los, you sound like one of Aki's followers. I know who he is, but nah, I don't follow him. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I'm subscribed to him. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. I understand that he is a Wilder fan and whatnot, but I have my flavors on the people that I support, just like everyone else. You know, the channels that I'm subscribed to and I listen to, I like their flavor. It's it's nothing personal. And I never knock a man. I never knock a man's hustle ever. Ever. You're making money out here. You're doing your thing. Good for you. But where I draw the line is when you start talking about the sport that I love and using it as your little propaganda tool, and manipulating the sport and twisting it and bending it in the way that it benefits you, then I got a problem with that. All the clickbaits and all that, I just, that's just me. I just don't like it. I'm not saying that he does that. I'm just saying, like, in general, it's just not my flavor. But no, I'm not a follower of anybody. And if anybody knows that of me, obviously you're new to the channel. I conduct myself independently, detached from everything except for the kingdom of divine sense. I'm on an island. I have some allies across the pond, I reach out to, I connect with. It's not that difficult to see. I speak to Stormy quite often. I have a lot of respect for that man. Drew Titan and a few others. But I'm on an island here. I don't have an affiliation with nobody. So let's make that crystal clear. My opinions are engraved within my own soul. My belief system is engraved within me and not influenced by any outside source or person. Wanted to make that crystal clear. Divine, you can probably agree most of the time when the better, most of the time when the better the fighter, the trainer or coach was, the more trash they are at trainer or coach. You can probably agree. When better the fighter, the trainer or coach was, the more trash they are at trainer or coach. Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. Like look at Freddie Roach. He wasn't a great fighter. He wasn't that good of a fighter. I mean, he got smacked around the ring. Go back and some of his fights are on YouTube. You can watch Freddie Roach. But look what he's done. He's created multiple world champions out of his camps. So the great fighters tend to make bad trainers because they were always getting attention and not having to train someone else. Exactly. That's basically what I just said. Yeah. I appreciate the comment. Sorry if I don't read everybody's comment, guys. There's a lot. I appreciate everybody engaging in the chat. But like I said, super chats help a lot. That makes me know that you really want to get a point out there or a statement or a comment, whatever. That's the whole purpose of a super chat, guys. So if you're just communicating in the chat, going along, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, if you want me to read something and address it, then that's the way to go. All right, guys. So yeah. So look, nice conversation once again. Great live tonight. We've had 2 back-to-back lives that have gone very, very well. I'm very appreciative of all the effort and support. We went live. Was it yesterday or this morning? I can't remember anymore because my schedule's crazy. But we broke down Wilder's training. His most recent video that he put on Instagram, we dissected it. I broke it down. I gave you guys my thoughts and opinions on how he looks. Not just like the idea of it being a promotional video on Instagram, but we actually took a deep look into it. So if you haven't watched it, it's up on my channel. I think it's titled something like Breakdown Deontay Wilder's Training or something like that. That's my most recent live stream. Go check that out. And then we came in today and talked a little bit more about what Wilder has said in his most recent interview with PBC. He mentioned that he's never believed that Fury ever got COVID. He said that he heard through many different sources. One fighter in particular that was a young fighter working in his camp was previously working with Fury, and this fighter told Wilder that he was piecing up Fury in sparring. We've heard that months ago about Fury being dropped in sparring. So that's kind of like reconfirmation or reconfirming that Fury hasn't been looking good in sparring. And he said some very notable quotes. He said that his mind is of violence, but he's approaching the fight with calmness. So that's a display of discipline and patience, which is going to be important when you're fighting somebody like Fury, because Fury likes to get in your mind, wagging his tongue, hands up in the air, licking blood off your neck, doing all that crazy shit. So you gotta be calm. You gotta be patient. And so that's being instilled for sure. So yeah, Dr. Hook says the same content creators that say race doesn't matter are quick to point out the racist WBA judge and the Valdez incident hypocrites. A lot of that going on. But I appreciate everyone stopping by. As I said, man, very successful 2 live streams. My mind's like a puzzle right now, man. We've had 2 very successful live streams, man, pretty much back to back. And I'm very thankful for that. Make sure that you guys smash that like button if you haven't smashed it yet before you go. And also before you go, I got a link pinned up at the top of this chat. That link will take you into the official member of the channel page. Get some perks. Become an official member. And what that also helps with is, like, if you don't leave a super chat, I always try to acknowledge the members of the channel and highlight their comments and questions and kind of give them a little bit of priority. So make sure that you click that link, become an official member of the channel. It's the first package is only $2.99, man. You know what I mean? Like it's a inexpensive way to show love to the channel and also get priority in the comments and also have access to some other perks. So that link is pinned up at the top of this page. Click that and consider being an official member. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. I know it's late for a lot of guys. I have a clock over here, by the way. If you guys see me looking over here to the far right, it's because I have a clock that's on New York time, and so I see that it's midnight on the East Coast right now. I have to do that because I'm on the other side of the world. So that's my reminder. So I know it's getting late for you guys, and I don't want to keep you guys up any longer. I will be on here live Saturday, Firestorm. So probably no live tomorrow. I'm probably going to take a break. I need a break. But I'll be back on here Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Firestorm. Firestorm is where I bring people on the panel. I already got 2 guests lined up, and one of the 2 guests is going to be a special guest. And I'm pretty sure Watcher will appreciate who this guest is going to be. Be on the lookout for my community page. I'm going to drop in the community page probably by tomorrow on who this guest is going to be. I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised who I'm going to bring on here. And guess what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about Canelo and Plant. We're going to talk about Andre Ward helping out Plant in his training camp. We have a lot of different opinions about that. A lot of different opinions on rather Ward should be doing it, not be doing it, Plant, Canelo, PEDs, all of it. That's what's coming up Saturday night. Make sure you guys don't miss it, man. Make your Saturday night free. Join the Firestorm. We'll have a panel open. It's going to be a good night of boxing talk, and I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, more than you know, and I'll be back on here Saturday night.